What's up, everybody? Sudeep Tumma back here with another NBA draft player breakdown. This time we'll be looking at Jaden Hardy, the G League Ignite shooting guard, the very highly touted recruit. Hardy really came in as, someone who everyone thought would be a top five pick and a very successful player. And his season's been very, very disappointing in a lot of senses, right? 18 points a game, averaging 3.5 turnovers though, shooting 35%, 27% from three. I mean, the numbers are just up and down. And there's one word that just comes to mind every time when you look at Jaden Hardy, and it's polarizing. And it's not a combination of he does some really good things and bad things, and you can kind of live with it. There's a major dent with his shot selection, decision making, which we'll get to, but there's a reason that he was that highly touted, and he has shown a lot of that. He's shown a lot of the scoring ability, the shooting ability, some of the playmaking, and defensive upside, different things. And it's such an interesting case, and it's such a difficult thing because he's a great athlete, 6'4", 200 pounds, has a pretty good, strong, compact body. He's not built like Anthony Edwards was when he came out of Georgia, but he's got a pretty strong body. He uses it well, has a good feel, and does a lot of things really well. And one of the things I love the most is his craftiness. He's got a great dribble, great handles. I think, in my opinion, maybe the best handles in this entire draft class. He has the ball on a string. He's making moves left and right, has a very good handle. And when he loses the ball, when he piles up those turnovers, it's not because of, messing up his dribble as much as just decision making and getting to situations he shouldn't. But we'll see here, and you'll see it kind of set up in little pick and roll situation, which he does a lot, and the Ignite do with him a lot, and he's very good at those situations, and he has a very good pace to his game. Also, we'll start there, right? His change of pace is great. We talked about that with Jaden Ivey. Talk about that with Jaden Ivey all the time, but with Hardy, you get a lot of that. He changes speeds really well. He has a good feel for when to go, when to slow down, when to burst. He's a very good athlete. Speed, quickness, a lot of quick twitch to his game. Not as much as Jaden Ivey, but he's definitely got it. And you'll see it here, right, with the handles. Driving down, little crossover, puts it between, and then here, right, gets in the air. Great body control. He's always displaying ability to switch hands mid-air, and he slices through the defense almost effortlessly at times. And when he's down, when he's attacking creases and angles, he does a very good job. And one of the main things that people kind of talked about with him, coming out, was his three-point shooting. That was kind of one of his main attributes, and in a lot of senses, you see that, right? You see a lot of not just great range, but the ability to pull up off the bounce, the ability to shoot spot up situations, and very good range, right? He's got NBA range, and he's got he when he takes good shots, when he's hitting them off the spot ups, or just good looks, they go in a lot of times. But you'll see here, Beauchamp has the ball, number 14, and he's going to drive it to the free throw line. And you see Hardy up there on that, near the top of the key, and you're going to see him spread a little bit. So when Beauchamp drives down towards the free throw line, watch this help defender right here who's on Hardy. You see him, cuts down, and now all of a sudden you have so much room to Hardy. I mean, Hardy probably doesn't need to be, 7-8 feet behind the 3-point line, but he probably wasn't anticipating his help defender getting that far off. But when he catches the ball, like I said, he makes it look effortless. That's really the word with him. He's got a good high release on his shot, and he gets it up there, right? And he's got a very high arc, right? You see that also. But you see, when he grabs the ball, his shooting pocket is one thing that's a little low. He dips the ball very low, right? Catches the ball, dips it down here, but when he gets it up there, he's got a good high release point, right? Up here, and rarely gets, just really gets a shot off very well. That's kind of what he does there. And like I said, he shows it off a lot. He shoots more than 6 times a game. Obviously, the 26-27% is not very inspiring, and it's not very good, obviously. But he's got some of that, for sure. And you see it here, too. Again, pick and roll situation. You're going to see him. He has kind of a interesting looking step back. Not the most fluid, but you see him here, right? Step back. And again, create a good amount of space. Gets the ball up quickly. And he's confident in it. He's very confident with his shot, always. And that's one of the good things and bad things with him as we kind of move on with that. Once again, you're going to see him pick and roll. But he's got, again, very good feel, pace, all that, to when to... when to kind of pull up in the mid range, when to attack, when to shoot the threes, when to step back. It seems like he's got good decision making with some of that, and you'll see later on what the issues are. But yeah, you get to here, and right here, defender sealed off well, and this is the guy you're isolating, right? This drop coverage defender who is obviously covering that pick and roll. That's the guy Hardy's reading. If he comes up, he's going to drive past him. If he drops down like that, he's either going to pull up from three or into the mid range. And he gets here, right? He gets into that area because there's so much space and feels it out. And this is a good, I mean, you see how much space there is, right? It's a good amount of space. So he pulls it up and he's very fluid there. And a lot of times he looks like, a polished NBA guard who's taking step backs and pulling up, kind of operating in that pick and roll area very, very well. And it looks like he should fit in the NBA very well. His shot making, his shot creating is really his main appeal. Obviously, there are other issues, but you saw with that craftiness clip very early on. He's got some of the handles and the ability to get downhill and get there, and he does that very well. At almost 200 pounds, he displays very good power and strength, and is able, when he gets to the rim, able to score. He has good touch, but it's really the type of shots he's taken. See him here, a little behind the back move, and then go. All right, goes on his left, kind of feels out. You see the little slow down for a second, right? Just he's kind of sizing up, setting up that defender, that pick and roll defender. And as you see him go, then he kind of drives into the teeth, crossover, and spins over. And it's honestly, he like I said, when you see it sometimes, it's really polarizing because at times you see him do great things like this. You see him really make the right decision, really set guys up and take smart shots, and then you don't. But you see him here, right? As he's driving down, you see this help defender. He's in good position, right? Between Hardy and between the basket, right? His back is to the basket. He has Hardy in front of him, right? So as you're going along, as Hardy puts so much pressure on you because of his athleticism and ability to get to the rim, you see him go the crossover, and at this point, now the defender is obviously crossed, right? His feet are pointed toward the sideline almost, and his back is pointed toward not the basket. You see it over there, and so Hardy fills that out. It's a good spin move. He has a little hop step also. And over here, he doesn't finish, through strong, but he does most of the time where he's going through, he's slicing through, he's finishing through contact. But over here, you see him fade away a little bit. And like I said, good touch. And scores because of it. And over here, you're going to see it again. This time, no pick. He's just going to go straight downhill in transition. See a little crossover and go, right? You see that pace. It's smart, right? He's reading it out. He's got that help defender down there, but as he doesn't come in time, Hardy is able to score. But as you see him dribble, right, he's going down, and just watch, he puts the shoulder in subtly, and it's almost a little slithery as he's getting there, and all of a sudden he's driving to the left, and all of a sudden he's on the right side, and he's able to finish with either hand. Good touch, gets there, right, body control, and is able to score. These are the things you like a lot, really like. And again, 3.5 turnovers, but it's not the passing vision. It's not, he's a bad playmaker, or those sort of things. But he's honestly, to me, he's only averaging 3.2 assists a game, but he's a very good passer, like superb vision and instincts, and he feels it out. And he leverages defenders. He manipulates them, gets his guys open, hits all sorts of passes. He feels like he can make every pass in the book. He does a phenomenal job, and I think it's only going to expand as time goes on. And you see him here. You're going to see again with the handles. And honestly, when you watch a game of his, you see a lot of the handling, the craftiness, and those sorts of traits. You see him, right? With a couple dribbles, and go. And he just reads it out so well when he's doing it right. As we go back, you see Hardy with the ball, right? Last time we saw him pull up in the mid-range. Here, that help defender is going obviously over the pick because you're scared of Hardy's shooting ability. So as he goes behind the back and going through, if he pulled up here, it'd be a bad shot. The defender's right on his hip, right? So he keeps going in. But what he really reads well is that drop coverage defender, right? Right here, this guy in the middle. Obviously, he's in transition. He's not set up as well, but as he's coming downhill, he's obviously right now looking toward number 11 for the Ignite, this help defender. But as the play goes on and Hardy starts putting pressure, he really slides over there. Again, where the feet pointed, toward Hardy and toward that sideline. So Hardy feels that out and makes a nice little pocket pass staring at the defender, right? And so it goes, and you get a clean lane. Smart with that. And you see a lot of smart passes and a lot of that sort of stuff. And he does a very good job passing. No kickouts, and he leverages them out, creates little pockets, and so on. And over here also, like we said, a very good athlete, and he can get up and down the floor very, very well. And you'll just see here straight just the speed. You'll see Hardy here once the rebound is grabbed. Hardy is right there, right? He's on that back line almost. But just watch him run down. All right, gets down there, gets the ball, and then just the athleticism and above the rim ability. For all of that, he does. He averages, I think, 4 point something rebounds a game, but to me, I don't even know how he got there. Because he doesn't really box out ever, shows very poor effort, doesn't really crash the glass ever, kind of like lets that go in a lot of senses. And it's kind of a, I guess, fact of his length and his vertical and his just kind of being around there that he grabs those rebounds, but he doesn't really commit there, which is not something you love to see. But here, this is kind of where the crux of everything, right? Those shooting percentages, those turnovers. To me, it's really twofold. Like, yes, the shot selection is not great, but there's kind of two sides to this. On one side, a lot of the shots he's taking, well, let me say this first. Shot selection is relative, right? It's relative to the type of shots you're taking. Now, the type of shots Steph Curry's taking, if he pulls up, he comes down transition, 23 seconds on the clock, shoots 10 feet behind the three-point line with a contested shot, nobody's batting an eye. Now, obviously, if just about anyone else is shooting that, minus a few guys, it's considered bad shot selection, right? And with Jaden Hardy, we saw with a bunch of early clips, we saw with the high school stuff, he's able to hit those shots. He's got a lot of pure ability and a lot of talent, and that's why he's able to shoot a lot of that. A lot of it's not going in. I don't know why. But a lot of the shots he's taken, just, again, same looks, but are not going in. Now, that's one aspect of it. And then two is there are some things that are just ill-timed, and we'll see on the drives, which concerns me a little more. But you just talk about, a lot of people say, he takes too many contested pull-ups. I don't think that's really as much the issue because, like I said, he's able to hit them, but he's not always hitting them. But I don't think there are some that are, ill-timed. Like this one we'll see here, right? Grabs the ball, 22, 21 seconds, just pulls up right here, and he misses. But for all intents and purposes, this is not a bad shot, right? You see how much space he has. He's got a good amount of space. He's a very good shooter, obviously, and he's confident in his abilities. So, I mean, those are things you usually want. Gets the ball off cleanly. But he misses. And like I said, is this shot ill-timed? Probably. The game close. Is your coach going to be happy you took it? Definitely not. So, in essence, not a great shot, but it's some of this stuff that you don't really love. There's some that he's kind of just not forcing up too much. I don't know if there's much problem with the jumpers, but like this is what I'm talking about. This is, I think categorized as a very good shot for not just him, but most people who can shoot a three ball, right? You watch his defender who's being screened. Watch as he drops. Right, drops a couple of feet. Hardy sets up, and there is no contest. Absolutely no contest. There's a lot of space, and there's also a gigantic man in front of him. So Hardy pulls up, but misses that. And you see a lot of those looks. That's kind of some of the issues you're looking at, but I don't put shot selection on that. But again, not going in, it's kind of an issue, and what it kind of comes down to is the fact that he hasn't really adjusted. Like I said, he's got the ability. He's got some of that ability, and that's why those shots aren't technically bad 4, 5, 6, 7 months ago. But the fact that he hasn't adjusted when they're not going in, when the percentage is so bad, and when it's kind of probably hurting the team, that's kind of the issue, and that's something I'm sure scouts hate to see. Now, this is what I have a lot more of a problem with. We saw with his ability to finish through contact, his ability to finish at the rim, to create with his handle, through the pick and roll, to really manipulate defense a little bit and get good creases, angles. But sometimes he just does a little too much because he trusts that he's able to. And with his handle, with all his ability, he's able to do things and get angles that most people probably wouldn't be able to. But there's kind of a sense of, okay, I can do that a little bit more. And you see here, right? He's going to be on that corner when he gets the ball. Right here. And watch. He's takes a couple dribbles, right? Crosses over. Crosses over, starts going. And right here. There's 1, 2, 3 guys kind of around Hardy, ready to contest in a sense. And, in a lot of sense, he's probably getting through this, right? He's probably making a play that most other people aren't making. But takes it, kind of, the ball gets, defender gets his hand on the ball. Hardy's looking all awkward. And that's why you get 3.5 turnovers a game. Right? And it just ends up being bad stuff. And it continues to get worse. There is a lot of games that you see where he shoots very bad percentages where you're looking at a lot of looks like this. And a lot of them look normal. A lot of them look good in the sense of when he first starts getting downhill and beats his man. But like you'll see here, he's coming off a curl cut when he gets the ball. And then right here, the guy who he's beat, right? This man right here, obviously he's got a beat on him. And so Hardy's going to go downhill and try to attack. But at this point, he's almost stumbling, losing the ball because he's trying to, dribble that ball a little low to, like you saw with one of those first clips, when he's just trying to make this defender right here not be allowed to steal the ball. So the dribble kind of goes a little down, and he loses it, stumble, his balance is off because he's doing there. But when he kind of commits to driving, and so, yeah, you see that. And there's not a clip of that here, but you'll see he gets blocked a lot. That's a concern. It's a concern for me. And when I watch him, a lot of times, as silly as this sounds, it almost feels like he's unaware that there is a shot blocker present, where he's going downhill. A lot of times the shot blocker doesn't come off enough, doesn't have the foot speed, or he dumps it off, or the help defender is scared that Hardy's just going to dump the ball off, or there's a more clean sort of approach, or he finishes through contact. But a lot of times he gets blocked because he's really looking, he's trying to get past that first guy and just kind of doing it. Like I said, he's got really good touch, but for that, you also need to get to the right position, right? If you're talking about big men, you need footwork, you need body to get to a place where where your touch even matters, because you need to get to the right spots. And when Hardy does get to those right spots, like we saw with the first bunch of clips, he gets there and he scores. But when he does stuff where he doesn't get, enough momentum or doesn't get to that spot, he continues, he's committed there, and it doesn't work out. And a lot of times he gets blocked, or a lot of times he's shooting a layup from farther than he wants to be, but he just puts it up anyway. And those are things that concern me, right? And like I said, probably needs to adjust, and that's something that we'll look for in the future. And then there's this. This is absolutely horrible. You see Jaden Hardy out here in the corner. And defense was, probably an issue came out of high school, and it's really only persisted worse. His one-on-one defense is, there a little bit, kind of, but his off-ball defense, his defense as a help defender, as a pick-and-roll defender, is absolutely horrendous. You see the ball get to the corner, and watch here. So Hardy's right there, or rather, let's look over here. So you got Hardy there. And then you got his man over there, right? And when we scroll back just a second, and the ball's in the corner, the Ignite player is contesting it. And what is Hardy doing? He is watching it like it's a movie, right? Ball watching. Yeah, we love ball watching. He doesn't commit as a help defender, doesn't do that well either. But yeah, you see him ball watching, you see him looking, and he does this way too often. And because of that, this dude right here is going to find the cut, the little flash to the middle, and score a basket, right? Simple here. At this point, just watch it. Ball's going, cut inside, and scores. And this happens way too often. Way too often. You see him bite a lot when his guy doesn't have the ball, and you see some backdoor cuts. You see a lot of this backdoor cuts. You see the flashes. You see just defenders almost just walking by him because he's always losing sight. It feels like every single time he's losing sight and he's ball watching. It feels almost every play, and it's honestly really bad. And especially in an NBA and a league where it's even more derived on, moving without the ball, playing positionless basketball, you need to be super aware. You need to move well when you are not defending someone with the ball, and it's only getting more and more that way. And Hardy does a horrible job of that, which is not good. He is not very alert. like I said, pick and roll defense not great. He doesn't do a good job switching, doesn't do a good job staying alert and sticking with his man, and it causes a lot of issues in that sort of sense. And you saw that here. And like I said, he doesn't commit as a help defender either. So you're going to see him kind of come down lightly, doesn't do enough, doesn't really commit there, doesn't do a good job. So it kind of affects the entire team, things that you can't put a number, a stat on really. And then also, when he does kind of slowly float towards help defense and the ball goes back to his man on the perimeter or whatever, he doesn't do a good job closing out either. He doesn't take good angles. So when he does rotate back, his defender will just drive right past him and it'll be a basket or a foul or something or another. And these are things that just kind of pile up and not great. That being said, anyone can learn anything, right? You talk about 6'4", good enough size, the body obviously, but 6'9" wingspan. He's got the athleticism, so he can develop that sort of lateral quickness, and a lot of it's focus and a lot of it's commitment to playing defense. And you see that on certain clips when he does kind of commit down. You see here, right? Gets into the chest, goes over the pick, sticks, obviously gets pushed off a little bit, but he contests the ball, and you love to see that. That's the type of stuff you're looking for, right? But you want that consistently, and not everything's going to be one-on-one, and especially nowadays there's a lot more pick and roll motion than there used to be. But that's some of the issues on his defense, and something that's probably going to compound and something that he's going to need to fix going forward. But as a whole, more than anything, it's really going to come down to shot selection and decision making. The two things we really talked about. Those are the things that are a major concern. Those are things for his inefficiencies and disappointing by a lot of measures. And that's the reason why his draft stock at this moment is slipping potentially out of the lottery. I think he has lottery talent. I think he has top 5 talent. But if he's not able to come together and come and be the player that everyone thought he would be, irrespective whether it's in the G League Ignite or at Duke, it doesn't matter. But he needs to really improve there and show that even just the last 2 games, just that he can adjust and do what needs to be done and make proper reads or do whatever he needs to do. But that's going to be interesting because, like I said, it's not as simple as he does some good and bad, and the bad won't affect you enough to not draft him. His draft stock could really plummet. A lot of teams could really be turned off to that because you kind of lose a role, right? You don't have a guy who's rebounding, you don't have a guy who's defending, unless he has the ball in his hands a lot and making decisions. And if those decisions are hurting you, then you're going to bench him and you're not playing him. So is he going to be like a 5-10 minute play per minute per player game? No, probably not. That doesn't really exist anymore, especially if you don't play other things, or do other things. But Hardy, he needs to really fulfill into that role. To be a role player, you need to a lot of times play defense, be a catch and shoot guy, do all sorts of things. And Hardy can do a lot more, and he's so confident and trustworthy in his abilities, and that's what I think you see with some of that shot selection decision making also. He's just so confident and so trustworthy. And another thing I forgot to mention, when we saw that kind of the ill-timed looks, like the one he pulled the transition, he also has a knack of, if he piles up, he hits a couple threes or hits a couple of baskets, he's going to heat check most likely. He's going to take a shot that's not, by all intents and purposes, not a horrible shot, but one that you probably can take a better shot or develop, or rather, be patient and get a better shot. But it's he's got the space, he's got the ability, so he takes it. And a lot of things come to compile, and those are things I think scouts will be really looking for. But we'll see in time how Jaden Hardy kind of pans out. But for now, that's been the whole cap on Hardy. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, the full scouting report will be on dblcoverage.com. That's dbl-coverage.com. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day.